Are we on? Yeah. All right, I'll call this meeting to order. Ms. Craft, please take the roll.
Mrs. Knapp,
Here.
Ms. Knapp, Mr. Ringel.
Here.
Mrs. Faust.
Here. That's it.
States and two states, one nation, under indivisible, liberty, and justice for all.
Okay, public comment. Is there any comments from the public? Just come up to the podium.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. So this is Karthik and this is Ravi. We are from Polaris Cricket Club and North Park Cricket Club. So thanks to everyone, Orange Township trustees, and especially Silas. He has been helping us from last 3 years now, I guess, 2-3 years. Yeah. So finally, we have a home ground at North Park, and we had a successful year last year. So we have Midwest Cricket Tournament that's in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. So we were the winners in Division 1 T20 last year and runners-up in T35. So this is the trophy for that. So it could have not happened without your help. And there were like around 70 teams that participated across all 3 states, and we were number 1 and 2 respectively in both divisions. So I just wanted to time.
Is this,
Right.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, can we take a picture?
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. Sure. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think as they sit over. She's like, lift it over your head.
Just got it.
We should put that in the news. You have more than one a week. If I'm lucky.
Let's see, I don't think there's any further public comment, right?
I don't see any.
Okay. And next we have general announcements. I would like to announce that today is Michelle's birthday. Happy birthday. That's the
This is the place I want to be.
yeah. Right. We'll make it quick. Are there any other general announcements?
So the only thing I wanted to share was we had some community members reach out to us who live in Lewis Center Village at the end of last week with some concern about some tree clearing in the property that's across, it's at the southwest corner of Lewis Center Road and North Road, what will be the Green Meadows extension. So things didn't exactly go per the design documents, which was really, really unfortunate. So the trustees have reached out to them, and we were able to have a conversation yesterday, and they will be submitting just like how are you going to fix it? And so we've got the privacy and that the Lewis Center residents were looking for, and that we were also, it was important to us as trustees as well. So we are on top of it, and really disappointed that this is what happened, but I think we'll make the best of the situation.
Oh, yeah, we're definitely going to hold them accountable for they pretty much decimated the area, and it was a huge disappointment, but they do seem like they're going to work with us and make it right. So we'll decide that at some point.
I just had one thank you. So last week we had the Delaware County Township Association meeting, and Trustee Knapp gave an excellent update on the activities of Orange Township. So just wanted to give her a shout out for that. Some local government fund discussions, and there'll be more information coming out about that in the future.
And after the meeting was over, we were, a number of us who were able to stick around, were able to get a tour of the space of the new Bixby campus, and a number of county services have been consolidated to that space. So it was, appreciate Commissioner Merrill's time and giving us the tour and showing us.
Yeah, we got a nice tour, and then we almost all got sucked up by a tornado.
Right, but there's, and speaking of that, just our thoughts and prayers are out to everybody that has been impacted by the tornado. My understanding is that there really has not been any damage here in Orange, which we're very grateful for. And we have worked with Berlin Township over the weekend, Friday, Monday. And we're, one of the things we'll touch on tonight is just an agreement for, basically we've all played neighborly together, and we're assisting. And so thankful to our roads departments and Silas and Aaron and the guys for being able to assist in our partnership with the trustees up in Berlin. And one of the beautiful things of local government, and through specifically the Delaware County Township Association, is that we get to know the elected officials in other communities. And so when there's a need, we're able to help when we can. So this has been an example of that. So again, thoughts and prayers are with everybody affected, and we're grateful for partnerships.
Yeah, it could have been much worse. I mean, it really could have been.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I have one thing. We were recently notified, the county engineers they are holding an open house at our township hall on April 10th between 4 to 7 p.m. And this is in regards to the Orange Road Railroad grade separation project. So I was able to reach out to the county engineers today. They will be doing a press release by the end of this week that we'll be able to share on our social media outlets, and just trying to get the word out. As far as how the notifications worked, it is my understanding that the property owners that are along Orange Road were notified, but I believe this is more of a regional impact to the township, or a larger scale than just the individuals on the road. So we want to make sure we can try to inform as many people as possible to attend that open house.
When did you say that was?
It is Wednesday, April 10th, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m.
And it's an open house, so come anytime in that.
I believe so.
Okay.
Is that here?
It'll be hosted here at our office.
Okay. In this room?
Yes.
Okay, and the county engineer was here, last meeting?
Last meeting, yeah.
Yeah, and it said that would be a project that was, $35 million, and we would be responsible for maybe $4 million at this point.
I think there was 7 that was. If
It's very rough numbers.
Right, it's very rough numbers.
I think it was 7
They currently
split.
have 8. They're hoping to get a grant for 20, and then the difference would need to be split in some fashion.
Would the
between
TIP be
us and the
covering any
county.
of that?
I don't believe we've gotten to any of those details, so
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, I thought that it was $7,000 to be split between the county and the township.
Yeah,
so.
that lines up with
Yeah,
what I'm going
but it's probably going to, or 3.5 million, but it's probably going to go up from there. And when was the anticipated start date for that, if it goes forward? It was like 26, I thought?
I want to say even further out. 28.
Yeah, a little bit farther out.
Yeah, I think the home road overpass needs to be.
That one, I think, is the
one's-
first railroad.
Yeah, that's 2025, I think, and the Cheshire is 2026, maybe.
That's if they have, the funding sources in place.
Anything else?
And that's it on my end.
Are there any agenda changes?
I do have 2. So 2 under administration. One is a mutual aid agreement with Berlin Township, and the second is to accept a donation, and that's all I have. Then you read it as.
Yeah, I
2.
never get this part right now. Okay, so I say, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda for the regular meeting held on March 20th, 2024. And that includes Resolution 24-091, approving the electronic record of the proceedings from the regular trustee meeting held on March 6, 2024. And Resolution 24-092, approving purchase orders, then and now purchase orders, and blanket purchase orders as listed.
Second?
Perfect, Lisa. Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. Okay, next we have the development and zoning report. Mr. Duffy?
Good afternoon, trustees. We'll start with our hearings and meetings report. We have no action items for you this afternoon. We do have a busy Board of Zoning Appeals meeting this week, tomorrow, Thursday, March 21st at 6 p.m. There are 6 items on that agenda. The first is an area variance for wall sign height for the Prestige Storage Facility located on 175 Orange Point Drive. The second is a pool encroaching into a rear yard setback on Jennifer Ann Drive. The third agenda item is another rear yard setback, this time for a deck on Royal Birkdale Drive over in Westerville on the east end of the township. The fourth, again, is a variance for signage height for the BJ's Wholesale Facility on Orange Center Drive. The fifth is architectural area variances. So there are 3 total variances, one for 3-sided architecture instead of 4-sided architecture, one for a roof pitch, which is less than the required amount, and one for a black roof for the proposed buildings where black is not a permitted color.
Oh, go ahead.
The final variance is, again, for wall signage height for the proposed Chick-fil-A building at Meadow Park Avenue.
And how tall is do you know how large the Chick-fil-A sign is? That one they're asking with the name.
So I believe it's about 19 feet to the top of the sign. They previously had a variance approved by the board for signage. It was around 17 and a half feet, if I recall correctly, and they're looking to increase that again to 19 feet.
And how tall is the sign itself? Can you see? I can't.
Yeah.
Tall?
Yeah, so about 5 feet tall. Yeah.
The square one. is
Correct. Yeah.
Could you go back to the BJ's sign? Like, that's a big sign. Like,
That is a big sign.
is that lighted? Is it internally illuminated?
I believe so.
That giant one is the one they're asking for?
That's
Yes.
The one that
And
says BJ's also?
Yes.
where does it face?
That faces 23.
And how can you guys? How tall is that? Is that?
16 feet wide, it's 10, the BJ's itself, just those letters is 10 feet tall.
So I
Looks
believe
like
it's
Wholesale Club is 2 feet tall. If I'm reading that properly.
And that's just
What do they have on there now?
it's BJ's Wholesale Club, but it's a different logo. They are updating their branding.
Can you see that from the road easily? Is that the situation? It's too far back, like the one they have now?
I believe they're updating it more for their branding standards rather than
Oh, okay.
the actual size.
That seems very large to me. But that meets the square footage requirements, just not the height.
Correct.
That's big. Okay.
Speaking of fast food, I drove by Popeyes the other day and like looked at the signs and they look nice.
Good.
Are they up? I haven't seen that. Is it? When does that open? It's not open yet, right?
They have a grand opening planned, I believe, in May.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know when they will actually be open for business, but they have a grand opening celebration planned in May.
That's right, like early May.
All right, and then for trustee hearings, we do have a hearing scheduled for Tuesday, April 2nd, here at 5:30 for the Lewis Center Self-Storage Project, RCOD 23-02. We did receive updated materials from them late in the day yesterday, so those have now been processed. They are ready for pickup in your boxes for your review, trustees. I have taken just a brief look at the plan, but I have not had a chance to delve into them in much detail. But we will complete a thorough review and then get a report out to you when that is complete.
And remind us, and we'll obviously go back and watch the zoning commission hearing, but was, besides the use, Were there any other concerns at the commission level that you recall?
There were a few. I mean, fencing was something that was brought up. They do have possibly two divergences, one being for landscaping along the road frontage, which is difficult because they do have a power line easement that they essentially can't, they can only do limited landscaping under. Another would be, so they're in the overlay district, there's both a minimum setback and a maximum setback for buildings. And depending on how you interpret the buildings in the rear as to whether they are one building or separate buildings, they may or may not violate that maximum setback.
And they've worked around the power lines, right?
Correct. So you can kind of see the space between those narrow buildings on the southwest, and then the larger building on the northeast. That areas where they have most of their stormwater retention. That is the area under the power lines where they cannot build any structures.
Okay.
Is there any concern with having power lines over the water retention area?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But I assume that language would be included in their easement. That would dictate that.
Do they get the easement before the zoning, after the zoning?
I'm assuming the easement, the easement is already in place. They would just have to abide by the terms that are in that easement.
All the easements are recorded with the property on the plat with the recorders of it. There's a lot of easements on the property.
All right, and then we do have a new rezoning that came in, I believe, last week, which is the Pickups Plus property on 23, a little south of Parkway Drive. So the zoning commission hearing on that will be scheduled for April 9th. Following the zoning commission recommendation, we will look to schedule a hearing with the Board of Trustees at a later date.
Do you recall if there's any variances with that one?
So there are two divergences for setbacks from the north property line and then the west property line. Those both are currently zoned FR1, so they have that 100-foot setback from a residential property, but those are both part of the tabled overlay application for Parkway Drive. So I think we are accepting of those divergences in general.
Thanks. But this is, that's located, what is the business underneath it?
So it's Pickups Plus. So they're looking to build a second building and expand their current operations.
Do you have any idea? So I know they have a lot of like white vehicles that are parked out in front of it currently. Do you know if those will remain parked outside? It's nothing to do with zoning. I'm curious.
Yeah, I believe the intent is to have most of the vehicles within the building.
Okay.
All right, and then the last agenda item that is still tabled is the aforementioned Parkway Plaza project. I do not have any updates as to the status of that project.
Okay, next we have the operations report.
Good afternoon, Board. The only item on the operations report tonight is a resolution for our COTF, Central Ohio Trail Fund, Clean Ohio Trail Fund application that was due this past week. This is just a formalized resolution authorizing us to actually apply for the grant. It's part of the grant package. So that is the only thing before you today.
And what would that money be used for?
Be a grant application for East Powell Road Trail.
Are there any questions?
No.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-093, a resolution authorizing Silas Bowers, Orange Township Director of Operations, to apply for financial assistance for public recreation purposes through Clean Ohio Trails Fund.
Second. Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringgold?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
We do have one update for the fire report, if that's okay.
Yeah, go ahead. Fire report, Chief.
Good afternoon, Board. Just wanted to give you updates. So our medical director, Dr. Warren Yamrick, he is retiring from OPERS. So the medical director we're under his license. That's how we operate our EMS side. And he gives us guidance, comes and teaches classes and different things. So he would like to stay on, and of course, we'd like to keep him on. So part of the process of this is we're have to do a retire, rehire scenario. So we worked with legal and the OPERS. So we did a public notice last week, and it's 60 days. So we're looking at May 31st. He's in Paris right now. So when he comes back, he's going to put the paperwork in again for the process, and then we will hold a meeting 15 to 30 days out. We have to hold a meeting, which on there the public notice would be May 15th. Will be the day that where we'll do a retirement resolution to retire and then resolution to rehire, and then he'll come back and continue, and that will allow us to continue our under his license without any type of separation, which would be an issue. So.
That's good news.
Any questions for me?
Are those two separate resolutions that you mentioned?
Yes, there'll be two separate resolutions.
Okay. And he needs to retire. Is there going to be a gap between the retirement?
No, so we're going to do a SR6, which will, he'll not get the retirement for 2 months, and he'll be able to stay on.
I know it's been a lot of work to do all this, so thank you to everybody who's played a part.
A learning experience.
Yes, it has been.
Thank you.
So, and thank you for Dr. Yammer. He's been very understanding and working with us.
Dr.
So,
Yammer, because, that was, fortunately, I was able to get a hold of Opers before his Paris trip.
yes, I think he was getting on the plane when we were talking. So, all right, thank you, board.
Okay, next we have the fiscal office report.
Okay, just a couple things. The first is advancing for the Community Trails Improvement Grant, $60,000, and so we can get the land for said trail on Vail Canyon Phase 2, and that will be reimbursed. That's the county grant, correct, Silas?
That one is from Preservation Parks.
Preservation Parks, thank you. So, how this process works is, the money advances from general, then we get reimbursed, it goes back to general. So that's why we like to keep a decent balance in that account. The next is Clover. So, it says Card Connect, but we had a bit of a hiccup with our change with Point and Pay and Rec Desk. We thought we had everything set up for the new fee structure, but apparently how Point and Pay thought Rec Desk was sending the fees was not how they can accept it. So it was a big mess. We actually had to shut down, unfortunately, membership sales for 4 or 5 days while we straightened out the fees and realized that they can't do what they thought they could do. So we are pivoting and going with Clover, which is even cheaper. So it just means another credit card vendor for us to manage. That's the downside, but on the plus side, now for your IC, it's only 40 cents. So it's even better.
Okay.
So.
And what was it before? It was $2 fee, right, for every transaction?
For every transaction, yeah. So then we're going to keep Point and Pay for zoning because it is cheaper on the bigger transactions to stay with Point and Pay. So that's what that proposal is. And then along with that, because it's an automatic ACH transaction that happens with the fees, we need to, the next resolution is to add the Clover Company to our approved ACH transaction list. And then I have approving, hopefully you got a chance to look at the estimated certificate of estimated resources. That's basically the updated certificate after we submitted our year-end balances, our finalized balances after we closed the year. So that's why you have a new certificate of estimated resources. And then I did send investment reports or investment minutes to all of you. I had a really good meeting with our team, and we were in a fantastic position. Apparently, we have the highest book yield in all of Delaware County, including Delaware County, on our investments. So, woohoo!
Good job, Fiscal Officer Kraft. Thank you.
We were thankfully, positioned correctly. So, everybody's speculating that the Fed will start to reduce those rates later this year. So, we are going to go ahead and ladder some of that money. We're sitting on a lot of cash that has come due. So what we're going to do is ladder out some of that longer investment, and then to help buffer for a slightly lower yield on the longer term stuff. It's still like 4.5%. I can't believe we're talking about 4.5% is low, but 4.5%, we're going to buffer that with some commercial paper, because that's a higher rate than a mutual fund right now or a CD right now. So that'll help kind of balance out those rates, the long-term rates with some short-term gains. Okay? So if you have any questions on that, let me know.
I did not have any questions.
No questions. Yeah.
No.
Thank you for all your hard work.
You're welcome.
Let's see, so next we have.
So we're on 95.
Okay.
Or 94, right?
What, is it 94?
On page 4?
Oh, yeah, my community grant. Yep, you're right,
okay.
94. 24-9094.
Right, yep. Okay.
Good catch, Michelle.
Make a motion to approve Resolution 24-094, authorizing the fiscal officer to advance $60,000 from the general fund to the Community Trails Improvement Grant Fund for Bale Canyon Phase 2 right-of-way acquisitions.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. Let's see, next we have Resolution 24-095, authorizing the fiscal officer to enter into a contract with Card Connect LLC, Clover Connect, for credit card processing for all rec desk sales.
Second.
Desk sales.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-096, updating vendors approved for electronic funds transfer.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. And
One more.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-097, accepting and approving the second amended certificate of estimated resources.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. And this is not, I just wanted to add one thing. For people who enjoyed Freeman Farms up in Genoa Township. Oh. Are you familiar with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the good news is Genoa Township was able to purchase that property. So for those of us who've gone, I mean, for 25, 26 years, they closed this last fall permanently, but the trustees were able to purchase it using like Clean Ohio Fund. I think about $2.5 million, and I think the trustees over there paid like less than $500,000 for like 44 acres. So they're planning to open it as a park in Genoa Township.
That's
So
wonderful
I was
for the
super happy to
community.
see that because I was worried it would be developed. So that's exciting news for our neighboring township and many of us, since we don't really have that kind of farm here.
Thank you to Genoa for saving the trees.
Yes, thank you. I really think, yeah, all the trees. Okay, next we have administration report.
Yes, thank you, Board. Before I start, I just wanted to point out, Trustee Knapp asked the staff and I if we could do a split screen thing for public meetings. And because of Andrew and his expertise, that we are doing that today. So in the corner, you'll see the board's view, and then the rest of the screen is the document. So we can always play with that. But we've noticed that a couple other municipalities do that, and it's just a nice way to see all angles of the board meeting experience.
Yeah,
So-
instead of just having the
No, I
document
love it.
frozen.
So we're on camera all the time.
Yes.
Oh.
We'll figure out a code word later. Okay, so the first item under administration report is in regards to this America 250 Ohio Community Initiative, and this we're learning as we go. But can you hold the website up? Yeah. So this is a celebration of the 250th anniversary of Ohio. Can you? Yeah. Oh, of America. So, so we submitted we just Ms. Herbert and Ms. Bunting submitted our township as to be one of the 250 Ohio communities, and we were selected. So yay for us. So again, learning to see what we'll be involved with, if we'll be participating in events in the coming years. But there's two things that we need to do. So in front of you today is a resolution that we will send to this organization, and then we also need to designate 1 to 2 individuals from the government office to, I guess, continue on the communication. This event will happen in 2026. So I would recommend, just because of the existing board terms, I would recommend appointing Trustee Faust and either myself or Sydney Herbert, or, somebody that can at least make sure the communication, I hope we're all here, but, so that's the other thing. And another thing that we do need to do, and I wanted to just open that up for discussion, is we'll want to, we need to partner with either a cultural, civic, or it says cultural, civic, or corporate entity. So I didn't know if we wanted to reach out to anybody specific, or, again, this is new for us. We don't have to put that in place yet, but I was just curious to thoughts, and I'm happy to reach out and see if we can be a partnership on this endeavor.
Can we brainstorm on our possible partners? Or till the,
Yeah, I don't know the timing of that. I guess I just wanted to make you all aware of the next steps, but we'll at least do the resolution, and if the board's okay with Ms. Faust and I being the designees for now, I'll just continue updating you along the way. Any questions on that?
I have none. I make a motion to approve, is that you?
Yeah, that's
more
fine.
stuff? Okay. Make a motion to approve Resolution 24-098, a resolution of Orange Township, Delaware County, Ohio, Commonwealth of Ohio, supporting the Ohio Commission for the United States Semi-Quincentennial America 250-08.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Okay, next item is, I do need to do an amendment regarding the fire chief's employee agreement. We made a mistake on the effective date, which was March 6th. So that's just a quick correction. I can read the long list of birthdays and anniversaries. March is a popular year for us. Our zoning secretary, our zoning assistant, Nancy Fay's birthday was March 2nd. Firefighter Keith Myers, March 8th. Our assistant parks manager, Greg Butts, March 14th. Firefighter Josh Loney, March 17th. Firefighter Dewart, March 19th. We've already said my birthdays to say. Firefighter Mackenzie is March 20th too, so happy birthday. Our medical director, Warren Yemerick, is March 20th, also happy birthday. Our photography intern, Frank Goggin, is March 21st, tomorrow. Our project manager, Alex Rosansky, is March 21st. And firefighter Cody Johnson is March 31st. Our anniversaries, our Public Works laborer Ben Buck is 1 year on March 20th. Public Works laborer Hunter Jones, 1 year on March 20th. Our zoning director Robin Duffy, 2 years on March 9th. Our fire mechanic Bill Worley, 5 years on March 7th. Firefighter Cody Johnson, 8 years on March 2nd. Firefighter Reese, Gerard Reese, 8 years on March 2nd, and firefighter Kurt Gilsman, 21 years on March 9th. All right. I can get into the rest of the items if you'd like. The last two, which were agenda changes, the next one is in regards to a mutual aid agreement with Berlin Township. So, unfortunately, when the tornadoes came in on last Thursday evening, Berlin Township had more damage than their capacity could handle at the time. So Orange Township's public works staff were able to step in and help them with removing debris and just really maintenance-wise cleaning up the mess that was unfortunately created. So after working with both legal counsels, we have an agreement in place Berlin Township did review and approve this agreement in front of you last night. And I think the difference is, I know we originally considered this more of a long-term agreement, but there is a set timeline now. And I believe most of the work is done on our part, but just having this agreement in place. So hopefully they can apply for FEMA funds to get reimbursed for the work.
And my understanding, I think, is still the intent is eventually to have sort of a mutual aid. So if we're in need of services and they can provide them, then they would help us, and vice versa.
Yeah, well, I
know we haven't
think,
received that yet. I think we're doing this document first.
Yeah, this is kind of just to help with this specific matter, but from a township-wide, we are meeting with the other townships to do a master agreement.
Yeah.
I mean, and the tornado just missed us, so it could have been us, and we just want to lend a hand when we can.
Just a quick question on that then. So we just did payroll today, so are we going to go back and calculate the hours of reading the agreement? Are we calculating the hours your guys spent on Friday or over the weekend, or?
All that'll happen at a later date. There's calculations through the state emergency management, state EMA, that will use their rates and file all this stuff down the road should the board decide to go that route.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, there's a special form we have to fill, or that'll be filled out, and there was an education seminar on it earlier today, but yeah. So
It could take a while to get the reimbursement, like,
I don't know what the time frame
it could
is,
be
but
quite a while. Yeah, it could be a
the
year.
federal
I don't know. It could be a while.
And then the last thing is an accept donation. Orange Fellowship, I believe. Yes, Orange Fellowship. That is the group of individuals that we offer their a service, or we allow them to rent our community room at no expense on a monthly basis. And they wanted to give us thanks and donate $300 for our general use.
That's very nice.
Yes, that's all I have.
And Orange Fellowship, is that the church down the road on Orange Road a bit toward the end?
May have been like the AA group. Or
Yeah, I think it might be affiliated with the church.
Oh,
but
that's right, that's right. Yeah, because that was canceled briefly, wasn't it? Great. Glad we could get that started up again.
Yeah. So I think, Ms. Knapp, we would be on page, because we did the first one, page 12. Yes.
Are there any questions? Any questions? No.
Just again to thank our operations department for their partnership with Berlin. And there's been a fair amount of communication between a number of us back and forth with Berlin, so thank you.
Okay, I make a motion to approve resolution 24-099, a resolution establishing and clarifying the terms and conditions of employment for that person presently employed as the fire chief.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes?
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
So this would be resolution number, and I apologize, it would,
24-100?
yes.
Which one is it, 24-100?
Yes, sorry, we just got this in, so I was just making a placeholder.
I make a motion to approve resolution 24-100. Is that right?
Yes.
Agreement between Berlin Township, Delaware County, Ohio, and Orange Township, Delaware County, Ohio for general cleanup assistance following the March 14th, 2024 tornado.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Abstain. Is there,
And that would be 101 for the donation.
okay. I make a motion to approve resolution 24-101, acknowledge and accept donation
Second?
from Orange Fellowship.
Sorry. Is it my turn? Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. Okay, no old or new business, right?
Nope, that's all I have before the exec.
I make a motion to approve resolution 24-102, enter into executive session, to adjourn into executive session pursuant to Ohio Revised Code Section 121-22G8 for the purpose of considering confidential information related to the marketing plans specific business strategy, production techniques, trade secrets, or personal financial statements of an applicant for economic development assistance that is directly related to a request for economic development assistance that is to be provided or administered under RC 715, 5709.73 to 5709.75 and/or RC 715. The executive session is necessary to protect the interests of the applicant or the possible investment or expenditure of public funds to be made in connection with the proposed economic development project.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringel?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. Invited to attend, we have Fiscal Officer Lisa Kraft, Ms. Bonnie, Mr. Duffy, and legal counsel.
Okay.
We are good.
Very good.
On it.
Let's discuss.
That is 103 is the resolution.
Okay. Okay, yeah, thank you. I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-103, return to regular session.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringgold?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes. Were there any further business?
I don't have anything.
Okay, I make a motion to approve Resolution 24-104, meeting adjournment.
Second?
Mrs. Faust?
Yes.
Mr. Ringgold?
Yes.
Ms. Knapp?
Yes.
Well,
Robin.